welcome viewers. Reverend Dr. J.W. Morrison, theologist, New South Wales, Australia, on the road. Covert emotional incest and depression. So you've been away from your partner, you haven't heard anything, you're expecting them to show up tonight as arranged. You've struggled a little bit with loneliness, but you know they've got the company of their children, of course, the security, and that's the way they've made it. That they're entitled to that. It's not up to you to complain or object. Not up to you. You went into it, and so you stick with your arrangements, and something just doesn't feel right inside, deep inside. You feel that it's more of a convenience than a relationship that's trying to build something. And this starts to wear away at you because you've put 2, 3, 4, 5, 20 years into it, waiting for things to change. You're starting to realize things aren't going to change. Most of the time that your partner has either been spent at work or with their children. You're not welcome into the fold. Children don't like you. Oh no, you're too honest, you're too transparent. And this begins as you begin to realize something seriously is wrong, to form a depression. Now, that's the depression coming out of the covert emotional incest at you. It's coming at you, okay? But there's also depression going on in the mind of your partner because you're putting weight on her about this disconnect that's going on. The children are adult children are starting to suffer from depression because they've deluded themselves into believing that the partner's no good for their mother or father. And they're really putting on the act, and the mother or father's just not reacting the right way. So they're starting to get depressed because they're not getting their way. And then everybody's depressed. And there needs to be a resolve. Now, what you've got to understand is hope deferred, the Bible says in Proverbs, makes the heart sick. And this is what a lot of these people don't realize that you get mixed up with. The longer resolve's put off, the more sick everybody becomes, mentally sick. Because as soon as there's a unresolved, as soon as something needs to be resolved and it's not getting resolved, that's the beginning of trauma, mental trauma. Because you need the resolve. And if somebody's deliberately avoiding the resolve, an adult, you're in with toxic people. Don't be deceived by the sex and by the presence of this person. If there's unresolved and it's not being actively sought out to be resolved, you're in with deliberately toxic people. And you need to exit. If you've given these people time to bring resolve, this partner of yours, and they're not, giving favor to the unresolved, I'm telling you now, at some point they're going to check out of the relationship because the resolve will wear them out. They'll have to self-soothe somewhere else. The soothing now is being sabotaged that's in the relationship. Now, the momentum of the relationship will carry on, right? That will carry on. That's not an issue. But if the unresolved is left to grow, it'll grow bitterness, resentment, grievance, it'll grow depression, mental health issues, anxiety, disappointment. All these things will grow. If the unresolved's not met. Now, with covert emotional incest, the unresolved can be a triangulated situation where the parent just hasn't got the domestic culture to pull this person into line, because, and not only that, they've given the authority to the child of the house and of themselves. A lot of times in these situations, the parent becomes a child. You've got to understand how dysfunctional and toxic these people are. They haven't done the work to be a healthy family. And it's not your job to rescue or change that. You won't be able to change that. And everybody's getting sick and depressed and anxious, and what's actually because the person that you're with hasn't stood up and said, this is my relationship and I'm going to make the best go of it as I can, and you need to butt out. And when that don't happen, everybody's going to end up sick, worn out, depleted. The relationship will probably, it'll dissolve, because the unresolved will force that. They'll go deeper into their substances and alcohol or whatever else they take, medications, maybe all of it. Some of them take all of it. Because some people just will not, they are not going to resolve anything. They're not going to, they don't want to. They like things the way that they are. And you have to understand, you're just an outsider. You're not part of their culture. You've welcomed them into your world, and everybody in your world's welcoming and hospitable despite the dysfunction and toxicity. But it's a different story with you and their world. And this is where the depression's coming from. This is where the sickness is coming from. The toxicity of the hostility of the people in your partner's family, and them as well. If they're not resolving the problem, this is what I've always said, they are a part of the problem. If they're not resolving the problem, they are a part of the problem. They could be the problem. You don't know. You don't know what's being said behind your back. You don't know what's going on behind your back. These people are covert narcissists. They backstab their partners. They tattletale to each other on their partners. They backbite and whinge and complain about their partners. It doesn't matter what you do, how hard you try. It's just the way it is. So the next thing, you're getting migraines. You're ringing up your partner. I just feel lonely. I don't understand why the relationship's like this. Can we sort this problem out? Oh no, so-and-so's not ready. Well, what's so-and-so got to do with the relationship? These people are allowing their children to run their relationships. And you've got to wake up, because your time and health is going down the drain while these people are mollycoddling each other at your expense. Oh, goodness gracious. Honestly. It's pitiful, pathetic, unacceptable, and blatantly in your face. It's gone overt. Now we're in overt emotional incest. It's not covert. Everybody knows what's going on. There's no secrets here. You sit on the sideline while they get on with their lives. You're not in it. There's thousands of you out there suffering from this. Negligence. You're being used. These people are toxic. That's why there's mental health right through their family, and it's coming up, it's being transferred onto you. Excuse me, they don't know how to sort their shit out. They'll numb out on the dope, they'll numb out on the tablets, they'll numb out on the alcohol, they'll numb out whinging to each other, but they won't fix the problem. And this is where the mental health issues come into it. Many of you are wondering why you feel sick, sad, depressed, undone. Having to get therapy to learn how to tolerate the behavior of this dysfunctional group that you've gotten involved in. Therapist is telling you these people are dysfunctional. How did you end up there? Well, the dating sites are full of predators that have no responsibility or accountability, and they're having a ball, wrecking people's lives. And that's all there is to it. That's all there is to it, viewers. I'm telling you this because the Bible clearly warns, hope deferred makes the heart sick. And if you're in a relationship with one of these people that has no idea about making this relationship healthy, they're just carrot dangling, feeding you enough sex and attention to keep you interested, wake up. Test them out. Wake up and leave the relationship. It's not your responsibility to be caught up in the hostility, the rejection, the using of these people of your good supply, your genuineness. Like, honestly, you can be as genuine as hell and you'll start to become narcissistic as well, because you'll start to get senses of resentment, senses of bitterness, and these things are bad for your health. You'll start to get anxiety. You'll start to be depressed. It's like looking after infant children, having a relationship with one of these people. And you need to assess it. I don't care if you're married or not. You need to assess it. And particularly if you're not married, what are you wasting your time for? You split up with one of these people, they're on the internet dating sites that afternoon. You're just supply. You're not a person that they love. You're just supply. They don't know what love is. You can tell by the way the condition of their children. It's not love. It's all life just evolving around the wrong emotions and the wrong things. That's why they haven't got anything and they don't get anywhere. They think the future's looking down the bottle or down the bong or down the fucking prescription of the chemist. No, it's not. No, it's not. Love is when you want to be close to somebody, when you enjoy who they are without crowding their space or taking away their person, without impinging yourself on that person. Just being a collaborative pair that love each other and enjoy each other's company in union as individuals. And I always said to my partners, don't lose your individuality. Just don't. You don't need to. But that's not an excuse to not want to contribute. You're with the wrong person if you're not happy, and if they're not happy. It's not a matter of judging that person. If they find someone better, possibly they'll put in the effort. But the chances are they won't. You'll go, well, if I split up with them, they'll meet somebody else. So what? They had other people before you come along. And so did you. It's not the end of the world. Really. Doesn't matter what they do after you. It's their life. We worry too much about things that don't concern us and neglect too much the things that should. This is Reverend Dr. J.W. Morrison, theologist. Central Coast, New South Wales, Australia. Bye for now.